Welcome to Problem Solver Politics. I'm your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everyone.
And a couple of videos have exploded on Andrew Yang, gone pretty viral. Cody, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, well, I guess without further ado, we'll get straight into them. But yeah, there was, I guess with further ado, sorry about that, guys. There were two videos, or kind of a series of videos, but really from two appearances that went kind of viral with involving Andrew Yang over this past weekend. Earlier in the week, on Wednesday, he had an appearance on the H3H3 podcast, which garnered millions of views. But beyond that, he went to Iowa, had a series of appearances in the state of Iowa, and he had a couple moments, again, that went viral. One of them I'm going to show right now, which is from, I believe, the Everytown for Gun Safety Moms Demand Action Gun Control Forum for Candidates, something along those lines. Sorry if I butchered the name. Anyway, though, here we go. It's the moment that's gone very viral for Andrew Yang from this appearance.
My beautiful 4-year-old daughter, Dayla, was struck by a stray bullet March 2011. My son, my daughter's twin brother, witnessed what happened that day. She died 2 days later. Firearms are the second leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the U.S., but 4.6 million American children live in homes with at least one gun that is loaded and unlocked, and hundreds of them gain access to a gun and unintentionally shoot themselves or someone else every year. As president, how would you address unintentional shootings by children?
Okay, that was a good question.
Thank you for that. Can I give you a hug? Would that be appropriate?
I mean, I like that. He's just like, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
Didn't seem rehearsed.
It's a very human response, right? He doesn't come back at it with fiscal policy, or, here's my policy proposal. It's just an emotional response off the bat, which is, and we'll get into more on that in a little bit.
This even gets me, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, you have kids, dude. I don't, so it's a little bit different for you.
I have a 6 and 3-year-old boy. I was imagining. I was imagining it was one of them that got shot and the other saw it. I'm so sorry. The biggest downside of running for president for me has been that I don't get to see my family very much. So I get pictures, I FaceTime, I see pictures of my boys, and just that scene that she described, I'm sorry, it's like very, very affecting. You're right that when there's a gun in the household, you're more likely to have a child get shot or the owner get shot than to kill, let's say, an intruder into the house. Those are just numbers. Those are just the facts.
Okay.
So one of the things we can do, and it's very hard to get into Americans' houses where all of these guns are, but if we can convince Americans that personalized guns are a good idea, then again, if the child gets a hold of the gun, then they can't do anything with it. Then it just becomes a very heavy, expensive prop. And that's something that we can push. One of my proposals is to actually help gun owners upgrade their guns to personalized guns free of charge. Because if we can do that, then again, if you're a gun owner, and gun owners are parents, gun owners understand that, and some of them are concerned. So if you say, hey, we'll upgrade your guns for free, when we can do that, like you can upgrade the guns for free, and that would help make kids safer in our homes. I'm so sorry you had to, and that story should not be possible. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so that was the clip. A lot of you guys have probably seen it before. I apologize if you have seen it before. It is very moving, touching clip. Before I get back to you, Cardin, I want to touch on a couple things on it.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. One, obviously, it's a very emotional moment. And like I said, I've seen a lot of people on the right in particular, no offense, it just seems to be where the criticism comes from, saying that it was kind of like, oh, here comes someone grandstanding on stage about, pretending to cry for yada yada. Anyone who's saying that was fake, and I'm not saying everyone is saying that. I'm saying some people, I'm sure, have more nuanced takes, but anyone who's saying that looks like rehearsed or anything like that is honestly, man, like that is what it looks like when somebody gets kind of broke up and emotional. He tried to even repeat what he was talking about. He actually couldn't repeat it because it was so. That is what a person actually looks like when they're emotionally responding to something. Personally, I would say if someone were to say that this is not real or this is fake or this is hammed up for the camera, I was like, dude, I don't think so at all, man. Full disclosure, we're both fans of Andrew Yang. I've donated to his campaign, right? So I'm not going to come out here and bash him. But to be frank, like, I would say if I thought it was fake, it looked fake. Dude, that is what someone looks like when they go through something like that.
If their beef is the authenticity of that, we argued his actual policies in a previous video.
I'm interrupt, but I want to show you something. So maybe I am being a little unfair. I mean, this is the Fox News take. By the way, I love how Fox News just calls him Yang. Like, you know who he is. He's Yang. Yang breaks down at town hall after story of child shooting, suggests high-tech solution. That's as far as headlines go. The article itself isn't very long. It's definitely this is a viral clip. We want some clicks. They basically just quote him, and Yang's campaign did on me to respond to our questions for details as to how the upgrades would work, but the website notes that they could work through existing gun buyback programs to let people trade. Anyway, they talk about policy here at the bottom, but my point being, this seems like a pretty fair reasoned take, and this is, love him or hate him, it's Fox News. This is probably one of the more mainstream right takes is the Fox News take, and it's people saying, and it's whoever wrote this saying that Ron Blitzer, that, I wonder if any relation, but saying that Yang breaks down at town hall after story of child shooting and suggests a high-tech solution. I don't see anything in here about, here comes some phony Democrat laugh. Let's see. Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang shed tears at an Iowa town hall about gun safety when a mother recalled how her 2-year-old daughter was fatally shot by a stray bullet while the girl's twin brother watched. The woman referred to statistics of unintentional shootings by children and asked how Yang would address the problem if elected president. Before answering, Yang asked if he could give the woman a hug and then appeared to fight back tears when he returned to the stage. And then it's totally just a bunch of quotes, and then they say they didn't respond to comments. So, I mean, like I said, man, I have to kind of correct myself here. This is one of the mainstream right-wing takes, and it's pretty, straight on of what actually happened, I think that says a lot, right? That you can go to Fox News and get that take.
I noticed that you said that there was a sliver of the population that was questioning the authenticity of his tears, the authenticity of his emotion, and so on and so forth. And that's just not a place where I'm prepared to go, whether or not I agree or disagree with the concept of personalized guns. Because I'm a huge believer. I believe everybody should study a little bit of psychology. And once you study the fundamental attribution error, you understand that whenever we make a mistake, we always attribute it to our situation. Whenever somebody else makes a mistake, we attribute it to their character. And I don't want to assign dirty motivations to somebody that he's faking. I think that's wholly inappropriate.
Well, it looked real too, right? Do you think
and then also, real? Obviously it looks real. It's just like
that's what it looks like.
It's like gaydar. If you have it and you can peg it, you're good. And my teardar, okay, I'm sorry, my teardar, especially as a parent, I've held my daughter as she stopped breathing. And you can't talk about these things without it just, really just getting you. And this is one of the things I love about Andrew Yang as an absolute. I am huge on the Second Amendment. Even part of me when he says, hey, the stats show that less intruders get killed with a gun than people that have them unlocked. Even during that part of the conversation, I think, yeah, but that's not the purpose of the Second Amendment. The purpose of the Second Amendment is to defend against a tyrannical government, not against home invaders. So as bristly and huge on the Second Amendment as I am, I love Andrew Yang's approach to this because first off, humanity first. He recognized the woman. Good point, he recognized the struggle. And that's why I hate it when people politicize arguments after these shootings and these tragic events first, because first you have to let the people grieve. You're just a grifter if you try and insert your politics into it right away. So he did the humanity first thing, all right? And then second off, administered to the person before administering to the populace, gave the woman a hug. I like that. And I even give props to the woman because the woman's question was great. It was very specific. And she wasn't twisting numbers saying, oh, well, the leading cause of deaths, and then skewing the suicide numbers into violence numbers and so on and so forth. She came out with a specific question saying, look, we have a specific problem with children accessing improperly maintained firearms. And then he came out with a wonderful answer. He respected the Second Amendment. At least that's how I interpret it, by him saying, it's really hard to get into people's houses with these guns, but I'm willing to suggest the government help personalize guns free of charge. It's just like his response to the Citizens United question that we talked about earlier with democracy dollars, where he said, you know what, I'm not going to go on this A or B dichotomy. And the left is all about confiscation and the right's all about laissez-faire, even though that's not true. But That's a hyper truncation of the argument. But he says, here's this third thing that I suggest. And, I'm not comparing Yang to Jesus here, all right? But there's a pretty solid scriptural...
Really?
Yeah, there's a pretty solid scriptural precedence for what he did. I mean, anybody familiar with the ancient writ and the ancient text knows there was... But listen, there was a very famous parable, okay, where the Pharisees and the Sadducees approached Jesus and they said, hey, yo, Jesus, rabbi, and they're trying to trick him. They said, what's more important, that we pay tithing or taxes? And it was a trick question, because if he were to say tithing first, well, then he would be guilty of sedition in the Roman Empire, and the Romans could actually have him sentenced to death. And then if he were to say pay your taxes first, he would be guilty of blasphemy. And then the Sanhedrin, the Council of the Jews, could actually request that he be sentenced to death from the Romans. So by asking him, which do we pay first, tithing or taxes, it was an unanswerable question. And he comes out with not the A or the B answer. He comes out with the C answer and says, give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, give unto God that which is God's, right? So he circumvents their trick by giving a C answer. And this is what I love about Andrew Yang and the gun control question, is at least... You guys got to go back and watch the video on our policy analysis of his gun control.
I'll put it in the description.
We'll put it in the description, because there are a lot of details in his policy proposal, and
Stuff
some
has
of them
changed since then as well, though.
Yeah, some has been amended. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to do it again. But the thing that I respect about Andrew Yang is he's like, okay, I'm addressing the humanity first, and then second, I'm saying, okay, it seems there's an A and a B question, and there's a lot of people in this crowd that are looking for A, a lot of people in this crowd that are looking for B.
Sorry, but don't underestimate, remember the math angle, where he said, look, statistics show that, like, if a gun's in a house, it's probably going to hurt the people who live in there more. Just statistically, there isn't that many home invasions, and there's more guns home invasions.
Even for me, that's a little bit of a straw man
but
argument.
That is like a literal, but that is a literal math
Amendment.
argument. It's a literal math argument.
Okay, fine. Yes, it's a math argument.
I'm just saying he encompasses it all in that answer.
And I do appreciate that he at least had on tap, even though I don't think that's the purpose of the Second Amendment, I appreciate that he is aware and knowledgeable about the problem and not just speaking ideologically. Once again, he's speaking from a point of math and substance, which is arguable. And it can be argued in a civilized way, and a civilized outcome that can be respected by all parties can be reached. So once again, he did the humanity first thing. And then second, he didn't vilify anybody. It's like I almost like Andrew Yang for what he isn't.
Well, hold on 1 second.
More than what he is.
I want to get into the second part of this video.
Oh yeah. So here, let me wrap this up.
Which is the additional videos. These are important, man.
Yeah, he addressed the humanity without vilifying anybody, and then proposed a creative C solution that wasn't stuck in the dichotomous A and B solution. I'm out. You can move on.
Okay, well, now let's see how he feels about Donald Trump. Now, I know this kind of feels like a weird turn around, but I think this is interesting to point out. I mean, this is from his, like I said, he had several appearances over the weekend.
Should this be its own video or no?
No, I think it's fascinating in concert. So remember, we just saw Andrew Yang, the human, speaking, about his own children. Now let's listen to Andrew Yang, the candidate running for president against Donald Trump.
So here I was just saying how great he was and comparing him to Jesus, and he's going to rip on Donald Trump.
Any physical or mental.
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, pretty much.
So are you up for a challenge against him? Oh yeah, I challenge Donald Trump to any physical or mental feat under the sun. I mean, gosh, what could that guy beat me at? Being a slob?
Don't like it.
He's an embarrassment.
Hold on, that's one of three. It's one of three. Here's number two.
Like, what could Donald Trump possibly be better than me at? An eating contest. Something that involved like trying to keep something on the ground and having really large body mass. Like if there was a hot air balloon that was rising.
Don't like it.
Keep it on the ground. He would be better than me.
The guy I just compared to Jesus.
He's so fat. But I want to go
straight up going.
Like, what could Donald Trump possibly?
That's why you shouldn't compare people to Jesus,
Philistine.
Man.
Well, I specifically said I wasn't comparing him to Jesus, but yeah, this is basic, bro.
This is not Christ-like, you would say. Anyway, one more.
All right, Donald Trump, I challenge you to just end about any physical or intellectual feat because you're a terrible president. And,
no, if he wouldn't have said because you're a terrible president, that would have been funny.
Thank you.
Like that would have been
Donald
funny.
Trump, I challenge you to just end about any physical or intellectual feat because you're a terrible president, and America would love to see you pass out trying to run a mile.
See, that kind of crap is just what all the bullies that I went to high school with
trash
did.
Talk. That's legit
And I'm fine
talking.
with trash talk if it's the NBA Finals. but I'm still kind of like an
What
old
do you
school
call
person.
what do you call election? General election for president? That's bigger than the NBA finals, and that's what he's in. He's not in the general yet, but he's fighting for it. So
Okay, look, I'll just tell you this right now. I'm turned off by that kind of crap because as
Trash
somebody
talk?
well, I'm just saying I think it's like, for example, I criticized Steven Crowder when he was making fun of the intersectional left and making fun of people that were trying to there was this conference of these crazy intersectional feminists or something like, I don't even remember what it was.
crazy.
But he'd gotten one of his friends and his interns to dress like a robot and say, I self-identify as a robot, beep beep, and he'd got in there, and it was really funny until it got to a point where I really feel like he actually crossed a line from comedy into now you're always
Wait, so
pushing
did
that
Yang
line.
cross that line though? So you're saying Yang crossed
I
that line?
think I think it would have been a lot funnier if we said, I challenge you to any physical and intellectual feat, and then let the people think about it. But when you say because you're a terrible president,
Oh, come on, that's nitpicking, man. That's
okay, but then all this, how do all the
hair
people that voted for
splitting.
Donald Trump? It feels like a personal attack on them as well.
No, really, because they didn't. You vote for a president and then they become the president they are. You can't go to a president and say that, like.
Look, well, I know judging on our straw poll that we did
you don't
yesterday
get to
about
decide
how many of
what kind of president they are. Just because you voted for him and he's a bad president, it's not an indictment on you. You voted for him, whatever.
Okay, but he goes from being this elevated character that's humanity first to being just another SJW, ripping on Donald Trump.
That is such a. As a matter of fact,
I'm not saying
hold
he's
on,
an SJW,
hold
but
on.
just like the
but hold on.
SJWs.
Actually, I would say that's a unique attack against Donald Trump. Typically, you see the same attack levied against Donald Trump consistently.
Calling him racist and calling
Yeah.
him names?
Dude.
I mean, come on, he gets called names all day.
But what-
Elevate yourself, Yang.
He's not
Elevate
he
yourself.
didn't call him names. He just said, "Dude, I can run a mile faster than
calling
you."
him a terrible person isn't calling him names?
No, president. He said, "Yeah, I've been a good president." Which, yeah, if I'm running against someone for president, I'm going to say they weren't that good. Vote for me instead.
Well,
But
then
that's
what
kind of
is
like
calling him a slob? You're saying, yeah, the only thing you're good at is being a slob.
that's trash talk, dude. That's trash talking.
Yeah, it's lowbrow, dog. It's meant for
Yeah, it is. You're right. That's what Donald Trump did.
Neanderthal
That's literally-
football players.
What do you think? Was little Marco like an elevated line of attack? That's what is in politics now, and Yang's just capitalizing on it.
That's
my
why
opinion.
Marco Rubio tanked for that week and a half. He tried going full bore on Donald Trump. His wife and his kids didn't like it. He started tanking in the polls. It's like, I'm sorry. It's
not
like
him.
Yang. I like it because of math. I don't like it because of your trash talking skills.
I thought it was good though. I laughed. Thought it was funny. Hey, you
Well,
know
you
what?
did.
You know what?
I didn't.
Well, that's what it is. Is what it is, right? I thought
right.
it was funny. If someone went on the stage to debate for president and said, "You know what, dude? Like, can you do 20 push-ups right now?" I can. I'd be like, it's dumb, man. I admit it's not the way you should be voting, but I have to admit, dude, if a guy dropped down to 20 push-ups and the other guy was like, "No,
but see, that's
can't,"
funny because that's
I'd be
actual.
like, dude, that's like, that's a
if
thing.
Donald Trump were sitting there, okay, just like when Ronald Reagan in his debate against, I can't remember who, but he said, when somebody asked him about his age, he said, I promise I would never make age part of this campaign, and I won't go after my opponent for his youth and inexperience. Okay, that's funny, all right? If Andrew Yang were to say, hey, Donald Trump, try and do this, and then bust out 20 push-ups, okay, yeah, that would be funny. I would dig that as well. But when you start saying, oh, yeah, the only thing you're good at is being a slob, I'm sorry, just like Steven Crowder,
It
that
is ad
one
hominem,
time
you're right.
crossed that line, then I just feel like Andrew Yang crossed that line. Now, I realize I'm probably pissing off 2/3 of our audience right now by saying this, because 2/3 of them are like, yeah, rock on, and it's like red meat to rabid wolves. Okay, I totally get that, but I'm just saying, didn't like it. Didn't like it. You asked my opinion, didn't like it.
No, I could at the same time, I could see at one point he did just call him fat. Like I could see how it could be offensive. Like I'm not gonna defend him in that way, but I am gonna say, dude, like when you're running for president against someone, sometimes you gotta bring the heat. I thought he brought the heat there. He's got to show he can do it. And I think Andrew Yang could bring it to Donald Trump in an election cycle. He's gonna have to. I mean, we've seen a lot of clips lately of him interacting with other Democrats.
Good.
I think it is.
No, because you can't out-jerk Donald Trump.
Dude, I think
Andrew Yang
I think
and
he's better
Zach
than we think.
Grumman, please read my lips. You can't out-jerk. You can't out-mean. You can't out-demean. You can't out-tweet. You cannot out-jerk Donald Trump. So don't try. It just lowers you. But you know what you might be able to do to him? You might be able to out-statistic him, if that's even a verb.
I don't know,
You might be
dude.
able to out-math him. You might be able to out-attract an independent middle 1/3. But you're not going to do it by out-jerking him, because you can't.
I think I don't know if you have to out-joke him, though. I think it's just important you also let people know I'm willing to get in that fight with them. You have to show you're a fighter. That's a
show
real thing.
you're human with the tears on stage,
Both.
supporting the mothers of
I think it's both.
of deceased children,
In concert.
not by showing
No,
that
both.
you. Okay, fine. You know what? We're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this
But
one.
do you hear what I'm saying, though?
I'll take the hit in the comments. I'll take the hit in the
concert, though.
comments.
It's the marriage of the two. It's being able to be human and still get back to policy while at the same time
All
being
right.
able to bring the heat. You can do both. I like it. I don't know. I like it.
All right. So anyway, please let us know what you guys think. Okay, in the comments below, let us know if you thought I was highbrow, lowbrow, amazing. Scale of 1 to 10. We can even use a scale of 1 to 10. That's fine.
1 to 11.
Yeah, if you want to contribute to the channel, please check out the link. You can send us money direct via PayPal or on the super chats. When we chat, I believe we're trying to shoot for Tuesdays and Thursdays. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what we're going to settle in.
I'll be here Tuesday.
And yeah, let us know what you guys think. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. This is Problem Solver Politics.